Morning all, it's 11:24. It's a beautiful sunny day. I'm on my way to pick up Dan for another episode of The Plan, and today we're going to be talking about what's on your bucket list. What are those things that you've always promised yourself you're going to do but you just haven't got round to yet? Or maybe you never will. Maybe they're just things that are good to have there as you'd like to do but realistically you know you never will. Or what are the ones you are definitely going to do? What are those things that you may not have had the drive to get them done yet, but you know you're going to make it happen? Bucket list. Stick around. Fella? How you doing?
I'm alright, how are you?
Yeah, good. Decided against the shorts.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Today, Sean, we're talking about what's on your bucket list. What are the things that you always wanted to do but haven't done yet?
Worked with a band once that did a song called Baby in a Bucket.
Baby in a bucket.
Yeah.
That's a bit grim.
Yeah. What bucket list? There was a film, wasn't there?
That was a really good film. Morgan Freeman and
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
Great film.
Yeah. So what would you like to do before you die? Is the long and short of it, isn't it?
Yeah, or maybe just things that you've always meant to get around to doing. It doesn't have to be something massive necessarily. It's like,
Is it not something massive? I thought it was something like that's sort of life-defining.
No, I don't think so.
No?
For me, like bucket list things that I've always promised myself I'll do one day.
What, like twins?
I knew you'd go there. I didn't think it'd be that soon, but you did.
Sorry, so not life-defining things,
Not
but...
necessarily. Like, you've had a camper van a couple of times.
Yep.
I've always wanted a camper van.
Yep.
One day I'd quite like to get one.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things, every time I think about doing it, it's like, now's not the time. It's on my bucket list of one day.
to do.
But it'll also be one of those things where I might get to that point and go, it's never going to happen.
No.
It's never going to be a good time.
Well, interestingly, I was thinking about this because, like you said, I had camper vans and I had a boat on the canal as well. And I love that kind of lifestyle, that sort of free, lack of responsibility, watching the world go by.
Don't we all, yeah?
Yeah, well, you talk about bucket lists, here we are, cold beer and the sunshine. My life. So, yeah, I always, like you, I think now, I'm never going to be able to have that again, because what I liked was the lifestyle. It wasn't necessarily the van.
Not the thing, yeah.
But then I thought, actually, I just have to do it differently. So I'd want I'd spunky old vans, whereas I'd get a nice big camper van, one you can stand up in, and I'd go to Europe. I wouldn't just dawdle around the UK.
There you go.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Down to the south of France.
Yeah.
Into Spain. Yeah,
it's a different thing. I think that's I've thought about that too. The freedom of having something like that, you can jump in any weekend you want and disappear off, go and do a bit of camp. That's one thing. But something you're going to actually properly travel in, that's a whole other thing.
I've got members of the family actually that, in fact, I think he retired the beginning of this week.
Yep.
And they've got like a big camper van. It's got like the big box on the back. It's not like an all-in-one like mine, like a Volkswagen. Theirs is a big one with a shower and stuff. And they're just disappearing off for a couple of weeks, isn't it? Going to see friends, just having a drive around in the sunshine.
Yep.
Nice.
Really nice.
Yeah. But that's sort of thing.
That's a time of life thing as well, though, isn't it? You go through a big period where you ain't got that freedom, Or maybe you can, maybe your kids are little or whatever, you can disappear off and take them with you. But, they get to a certain age, they don't want to do that. But you can't go either.
We were talking about having a point in life where you work solely from your laptop.
Yeah.
Or having a job where you work solely remotely from your laptop.
Yeah.
And you've got a business, limited company.
Yeah.
And you can work from anywhere. So you think, oh, sorry, it's Sunday night, we'll get a cheap flight somewhere, get an Airbnb, we'll just spend the week there, just work, as long as it's got Wi-Fi, you can work.
That's a nice idea. I mean, you know, I always think that's
It's never going to happen, though, is it?
Well, you just
Is that
don't
the thing
know.
with bucket list items?
Maybe. I don't know. A lot of the time, I think people's bucket lists are things like I want to do a parachute jump, or I want to do a bungee jump, or I want to, climb Everest, or see the pyramids. It's generally that kind of stuff. But I don't have that kind of stuff.
No.
I just don't. I've never been the kind of person that.
It's never been aspirational.
Not like that. I just haven't. And
Wanted
there's.
to build the career,
I
climb
like.
the corporate ladder.
No, I sort of don't have anything against that stuff, but I like what I do, and there's stuff I'd like to do career-wise. There is, and some of it isn't massively career-related. It's just because I want to do it. Like I've made a few films in the past. I'd like to think I'll make another one, maybe another two, but getting that moving becomes harder the older you get. Putting in the time and the effort and the money and everything else, but.
I find
That's definitely on
maybe
there.
as I get older, what I want from life, what my aspirations are,
Yep.
become a lot clearer and a lot simpler. And it's
Yep.
basically to be left alone, not to be given any grief,
Yeah.
to have enough money to get by,
Yep.
health, everything else. Well, actually, I would like the sunshine. I'd like sunshine. We did an episode on the weather, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it just makes such a difference.
It does. I mean, this week has been pretty glorious, and it does make a difference. It's like this bit of this pub. I've lived in this town for 5 years, been to this pub a lot, didn't know this bit existed.
The secret garden.
It's really nice, isn't it?
That's why you didn't know. It was a secret.
It was a bit too much of a secret.
Yeah.
Didn't know this was here. It's lovely.
It is very nice indeed. And they do a schnitzel.
Apparently,
There you
they
go.
do a schnitzel.
There's your bucket list. Just have a schnitzel for lunch.
It's a very simple bucket list.
So have you got any of these? Because that's what I thought you meant when you said like bucket list,
like
see the
big-
pyramids, do a parachute jump.
There's places I want to go, definitely.
Where?
I don't think many of them are places I've not been, which is probably a bit odd. But we've talked about this before, but there's places I've been with work that I'd love to go back not working and just have a proper look.
Yeah.
Like I've driven across the States a couple of times, and spent a lot of time there flying around and stuff. But the idea of doing a road trip across the States, not in a rush.
Yeah.
Just having a nose around, love to do that.
I've done one, but I'm too young. I was too young to remember it. My parents did it when we were kids.
I've always done it in a splitter van, breakneck speed,
Have you?
trying to get to the next gig.
Oh no, I've done it in one of those big old American tour buses where the side slides out.
Yeah,
you know.
I've done that too, but that's to me that's different.
Yeah.
I'm generally watching a film around my sleep on the bus.
Yeah.
Whereas driving a split, I once had to, three of us sharing the driving, had to drive from Phoenix to Nashville, which is really long way, and we did it in 24 hours, I think, non-stop, just blasted it, which was exhausting.
Yes, sounds it.
But I'd quite like to do that slower.
But that, you see, that sort of thing, that's bucket list kind of stuff. Yeah, that sort of thing's slower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
But there's also places like, I went to Chile 20 years ago nearly now, 15, 20 years ago. I'd like to go back and see South America and see it, more as a tourist, I think, not working there. There's other bits probably I'd like to go and see Peru properly, or Machu Picchu. That thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not many places I'd like to see, but I wouldn't mind a nose at that. That looks like, it'd be an interesting thing to have a look at. I think Japan, I love Japan. I definitely want to go back and just spend more time there.
So a lot of this is travel related, you see, isn't it? Your bucket list is mainly travel related.
Well, I kind of have this vision that I'm going to get to a point, probably in 5 years or something, where I'll have the time and hopefully the money, and me and my missus will have a little bit of freedom that when we have time off, we can go and do stuff like that. That'd be nice. But obviously, at the moment, we're not in that zone.
No.
There's other stuff happening.
Yeah.
Other people to
It
be
does, and it's
responsible
just
for.
this is the thing about bucket lists, isn't it? Is you say that other stuff keeps happening, and we were just talking about it in the car. We were trying to snatch a weekend away, and it's like life just happens.
Yeah.
It just chung fills up, and all of a sudden, bloody summer.
Yeah.
2025.
Yeah,
How
it
did
goes
that
really
happen?
quick. It does, and that's the point of the bucket list, I suppose, isn't it? It's those things that get pushed all the time. No, not going to happen this year. Definitely not this year or next year. Probably not the year after.
I've always said I'd like a little small holding, chickens, a few pigs.
You've got a very small holding.
Yeah, very good. Middle of nowhere. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that
I'd
kind
like
of
to
thing
be
works for me.
completely self-contained. That's what I'd like. So
Yeah,
pool,
yeah.
I'm not too fussed about a gym.
Yeah.
Bar, you know, really nice house, open fire, big outside area.
Yeah.
And then just never, ever, ever go anywhere, ever, ever again. I think that...
I get that. I get that. Yeah. No, I'd like to live a bit more in the sticks. Definitely a bit more space. I mean, I think I'm lucky where I am. But yeah, one day it'd be nice. You know, I'd love to live by the coast. I think loads of people have that dream. I don't know why. I don't like the sea particularly. I certainly don't like anything that lives in it.
It looks nice.
But seeing it and being close to it for whatever reason is very calming and relaxing. And kind of, you're drawn to it in your spare time, aren't you? You always go where the sea is.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, you know, being able to see that out the window
I do have a flick through Rightmove or Zoopla and have a look at it.
Yeah, I'll have a look every now and again. And they're not insane. There's places which cost the same as everywhere else, but it's the commitment of living somewhere.
But we watched...
Not near anything useful, particularly.
We watched Grand Designs.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm never sure which I like more, is watching the budget that the guy has set go down the toilet in the first 3 months, or his missus getting more and more pissed off as the project goes, you know, goes
it's always
wrong.
both of those things.
Yeah. And then they pull it round, and they, you know, it's like, here we are 2 years later, and they look like 10 years older. They're like been draggled from living in a caravan on site.
Yeah, and then they go back 5 years later and they're divorced.
Yeah.
Pretty much always.
My dad met him on a plane, you know, that Kevin guy. But yeah, apparently he was absolutely shit-faced.
Good man.
Couldn't hold himself up. Oh. My dad helped him with his bags and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. Bucket list. Meet Kevin, the guy from.
There's a bucket list thing I don't particularly have. Is that I know lots of people that would like to build their own home, not themselves.
No.
But design their own. I don't mind that, but I don't. It's not on my list of things I want to do, really.
No, it's not on mine. And do you know why? Because even when I decorate or do DIY, I can't see the nice thing I've done. All I can see is the mistakes I made.
Yeah.
The tile that cracked, or the the bit of grout that you can't get off the wall, or you know, I could take you right through my house and tell you every mistake. You know, the screw, the one that this is the worst one, is where the what are the brackets called that you screw into in the wall? The brown ones. You drill a hole, you put it into raw plugs. Yeah. Is the raw plug going into the plasterboard, and you leave a hole in your wall? Man, that makes me cross.
It's easy enough to fix.
Yeah, is it? What, with filler and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you've got to paint it, haven't you? The paint's the wrong colour.
Ah.
You know. Yeah.
Yeah, these things keep you up at night.
No, they don't keep me up at night. No, it's the moaning about them that keeps me up at night.
Fair dues.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, the home thing is a weird one. I think I'm easily pleased with that kind of stuff. I mean, I guess there's a little bit of a dream that one day, maybe somewhere bigger. I'd certainly like to build a bigger studio.
Yeah.
I mean, I love my studio. I've only had it a couple of years, but yeah, I could probably do that again. That was quite good fun.
I do, again, is it MJQ LTD or something you see on Insta?
Yeah.
And they've got all these amazing studios, like on farms and in townhouses. I don't know. I mean, the thing is I look at that and I think, oh, I'd love that. A big desk, a tape machine, Pro Tools, you know, options, and, you know, a big live room. And you think
you'd barely use it.
It'd just sit there. Yeah.
That would still be nice, though.
Yeah.
Well,
even if you could let people use it for not very much, you know.
Yeah, you could rent it out or just let your mates use it.
Yeah, I could just sit on the sofa at the back and tell old rock and roll stories about the good old days.
The trouble is with
the good old days before AI.
Yeah, flipping out. But that old studios, old gear, you know, I've got some analogue gear. The more you get, the more you need to have a budget for fixing it. You know, and a desk. You know, I spent years thinking one day I'm going to buy myself an SSL. I want an old, you know, E-series ideally, and maybe a G or something. But it's like, the more that creeps into the realm of possibility financially, the less I'm interested, because I see the electricity bills of people that have got them.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's insane. Yeah. I know you can buy more efficient power supplies and all that these days, but realistically, as much as that might be on my bucket list to own that kind of studio myself again, I don't really think.
Well, this is
in
the
my
problem.
right head, I'd make that decision.
This is the thing with bucket lists, isn't it?
Yeah. Silly cars.
No, I'm not interested. Well,
What do you think?
No, I'll tell you exactly why. They were my thing, you know. I had Subarus and big Golfs and all that sort of stuff. But now, when I see somebody like a bloke in an expensive car, I think twat.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah.
Because I'd have a nice car, but I'd spend the rest of the money on something else.
Yeah. I mean, I think I'd probably buy myself, I don't know, probably, you know, like a Defender. I'd love a, you know, serious...
What, like the new ones?
I'm not a big fan of the new ones, but maybe. But a seriously kitted out Defender I'd quite like one day. You know, I think when I was younger, I wanted a Lambo or a Ferrari or whatever, and I'd still quite like one. I'd like to own a 1989 Ferrari Testarossa. I don't think I'd drive it very much.
No, that's it.
But I'd like to own it.
That's like owning a DeLorean, isn't it? You know.
I'd like to open the garage door and look at it and go, oh,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
put it back, you know.
Yeah.
But that's a weird one. I can't think of anything I've not done that I really, really want to do. Do you know what I mean? There's none of that.
No, that's kind of what I came to. I've
And the same-
fairly fortunate in doing.
And I think career-wise as well, there's no, you know, there's you know, I've got a few arms of my business which I'd like to grow, and I enjoy working on that, and I'd like that to be bigger and better, and hopefully it will be in the future. But I kind of ticked all the boxes that I wanted to tick career-wise a while ago.
Here's one for you then. I'd like to see my daughter succeed. That'd be, you know.
That sort of goes without saying, I would say.
Yeah,
you know, I want my kids to be happy and healthy and do what they want to do with their lives, you know, and I think they're on their paths now to doing that.
Yeah.
You know, my eldest is getting married this year. That's going to be difficult emotionally.
You'll be granddad next. Why will it be difficult emotionally?
Because it's cool. It's so nice to see your kids doing that and moving forward and moving on and being happy. It's incredible.
Getting married.
Gives you some weird vibe that it's hard to describe it. But, you know, it's like, it is. You're really proud and happy all at the same time. And you want that for all of them.
What when you become a granddad, what will your title be?
I don't know if I get to choose it, but if I do...
Well, I know a family recently who did, and they choose because they've got all sort of funky names. I mean, would you be Gramps? I could see you as a Gramps.
I sort of don't care. I don't care.
Yeah.
I went through a period of time, because I had kids obviously quite young, where you know, I could have been a granddad possibly 9-10 years ago, realistically. Still not yet, but at least I'm 52 now. As soon as I got to 50, I'm like, I can handle that now.
Yeah.
You know, if that happens now, fair dues.
Yeah, in your 40s, it's not.
Yeah, it's like I'm not ready for that.
No,
you know, I don't want to be called a granddad just yet. But I'm in the zone where I'm like, yeah, whatever, that's fine. I've got quite a few friends that are granddads now, so it's kind of par for the course, I guess. But yeah, you know, my granddads, I just called granddad.
Yeah.
In fact, one of my granddads, his nickname was the Old Geezer.
Was it?
So he was known as Grandad the Old Geezer.
Yeah.
And that's what I called him.
That's quite a good name for a granddad.
I don't know why he was called
quite like that name. Yeah.
I don't know why he was called that.
Yeah.
I have no idea. My dad's dad.
We had granddad and grandpa to sort of
differentiate
between them. Yeah.
I think the reason we didn't have that is that my mum's dad died when I was 3.
Right.
So there was never really a massive crossover, so there was no need to differentiate between them. But he was Grandad Bob, and my other granddad was Grandad the Old Geezer.
Yeah.
And that was my dad's dad, who, weirdly, I think I saw him sober maybe once. He just used to like a drink.
Like to drink. I was reading the thing about that. You know, nowadays everybody's alcoholics, whereas back in the 70s and 80s, the people weren't alcoholics. It was just that bloke. He
just likes a drink.
Likes a drink. Yeah.
Well, every Christmas he would be sat on the floor with a party hat, absolutely off his nut, you know, singing songs at the top of his voice. He used to love it. Used to absolutely love it. But I do remember when he died, because I'd seen him like a week before, and he'd been teaching me how to play dominoes. I think I was 9. And I remember when he died, and I just thought, that's strange. I think that's the only time I've ever seen him not drunk.
I've never seen him lay that still.
Yeah. It's weird. Yeah.
Dear me.
But that's a good one, kids. Forget about that.
Yep.
But also, I think it applies to friends. I think I've got a few friends who I want to see them just...
Again, just pruning.
Yeah.
Getting rid. See ya.
Getting rid.
Yeah. Becoming a hermit. See ya. Yeah. One, a couple less Christmas cards each year. That's nice and steady.
Oof.
You're lucky, mate. You're lucky you're so proactive.
That's. I mean, it's a bit off topic, but I do remember someone saying to me years and years ago, you stop phoning people, you stop texting them, whatever. See how many people get in touch. And it's like, I've tried that a couple of times, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
There are people that would just drop off the perch if you weren't making an effort.
Well, it's WhatsApp groups now, isn't it? There's WhatsApp groups for this and WhatsApp groups. I was speaking to somebody last night.
I don't really do that.
Yeah, no, I don't. There's a group of mates I've got, team, part of whom are Team Steve, Mark with the bar. And, and we have a sort of group chat. It's the only group chat I'm part of, really. Yeah. Other than family stuff. And, about every 3 weeks to a month, one of us has a hissy fit and leaves.
What about? What on earth can a fully grown man get upset about enough to leave
other people? But it's just like, we're all sort of, we want to be sociable, but it's like, nah, fuck it, I'm not being involved in this. So try to organise things. Well, if you're not, nobody's ever available.
I think that's why I don't do any of that stuff. But I've never hung out in groups. That's never been my thing. I think you probably know why. I work in groups.
What are you talking about? We've been talking on the way here. And you were like, oh yeah, just been down to see, stay at their house, and then I went to see the Small Faces with, they are literally a musical group, the Newtown Centres.
I get it, yeah. That's. I've literally known them forever.
Yeah, but you do grow up with groups.
It's rare. It's just not I'm not part of that
Twice
group.
in a week.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You go out to dinner parties with all your grown-up friends. You do?
Yeah. But I'm not
You
part
have
of
much
a group.
more of a group sort of friendship base than I do.
Yeah, that's worrying.
Because you've got kids of that age where they all hang out with their mates and you see their parents.
But I've never done that thing as, when I was in my... I didn't go out with a group of mates. I didn't have a group of lads I went on to. I've never done that. That's just never been me. I've never liked to socialise in a group. You're right. Recently I've been doing more of it. But I think a lot of that is putting in the effort because I'm like... If I don't, I might never see these people again.
I sit at home just waiting for you to phone. You're the only one I got left. The rest of...
I don't believe that.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. So, bit of travelling. Just an easy life. It's probably a bit boring, but... Yeah, that's my...
All right, so let's put a different slant on it. This time next week, you win 5 mil on the lottery.
Yeah.
What do you spend it on in the first week?
In the first week?
Yeah, what do you do with that money in the first week? What do? You got 5 mil. What are you doing?
Wow.
And you're not allowed to say paying off your debts. What are you going to buy? What are you going to do? Where are you going to go?
What are we going to buy? Where am I going to go? I will probably stick it in the bank and buy some. I'd probably first thing I'd do is go on Amazon and buy what's in my shopping basket on Amazon.
That's a whole new level of boring.
Yeah. No, I haven't finished yet.
Stick it in the bank.
Some supplements. I think there's a rug, a table lamp.
You still have. So you spent like 100 quid.
Hey, I've got taste. 200. I don't know what I'd do because I'm sort of tied to where I am. Because I've got a daughter that I have to look after.
Yeah.
So I couldn't just jet off somewhere. That's what I'm saying.
Could buy whatever you want.
Yeah, I don't really want for anything.
Nothing.
Not really. Well, a camper van maybe. But even then, I wouldn't just go out and buy one.
You're a truly happy man.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. I just don't really have any want for anything.
No.
Just to, like I say, just to be pretty much left alone,
Wow. That's free.
Yeah.
Just stop replying to texts. I'll never talk to you again.
Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah. Well, you still get FOMO.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I don't want to be contacted ever, but you know,
Yeah.
unless something good's going on.
Wow.
Yeah, do you know what I would do? I'd hire a driver,
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
and I'd, yeah, I don't know what I'd do. Yeah,
Wow. Glad I
yeah,
asked.
yeah. Try not to self-destruct.
That's right. Yeah. See, this is it. There's a bit of me thinking, I know why he's not saying anything. He could blow that money in a weekend.
Well, not these days.
Give it a go, though.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, yes. No, in the old days, that's exactly what I would have done.
Yeah.
I'd have gone out for a week.
Just a week.
Yeah.
Damn.
We demand the finest wines.
It would be good to do that. I mean, I still get grief off the missus because I can't remember what age I was. I was in my mid-40s when my mum died. It was 13 years ago, something like that. And I inherited some money. And it wasn't like loads, but it was, you know, it was tens of thousands, which just appeared one day in my bank account. And I had a very weird reaction to that, in that I didn't want it. I just thought, I sort of don't, and what my brother and sister were obviously going to do sensible things, you know, pay off mortgages, you know, get rid of their debt, that kind of thing. And I didn't have a mortgage, I hadn't bought anywhere yet, I was single, living in a rented flat. You know, I was like, I should probably do something sensible with this and push my life forward a bit at this point in time, and that's not what happened at all.
No, I remember.
I just thought, I don't want this money.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I thought that. I'm still trying to work that one out.
Yeah, yeah.
But I just thought, I need to get shot of it. So I bought a silly car. I then just spent it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you went to south of France, didn't you?
Well, yeah, me and Johnny went to the Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah.
And I just sort of paid for. We just ate out every night. We had steaks every night. It was literally like that. Bring us your nicest wine, champagne. We'll have the lot.
Yeah.
And we had an amazing, I think, 5 days or whatever there, and then I did a year like that. I think.
So what would you do? 5 million drops in your bank tomorrow.
The first thing I'd do is buy me and my missus a new house.
Right.
I'd move. I think as good as our place is where we are, it's fine for where we are, and you know it's a nice place. I've got the studio in the garden. You know,
should have thought of that.
It's lovely, but yeah, I'd probably blow 2 mil of that on somewhere that is like the forever home.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, stick a studio building in the garden, jacuzzi, gym. Just get that done.
Yeah.
Right, this is it. This is where we're living forever, kind of thing. And then I think a holiday, like a mad.
Oh God, I wish I'd have thought of all this.
You know, I'd have right, we're going away for 3 months, and we're going to go here, and then we're going to do everything we ever wanted to do.
Yeah.
That. I'd buy a 1989 Ferrari Testarossa. Mm-hmm. I'd probably buy something more sensible, like a Defender or something like that.
I think that's about your money gone, isn't it?
That's probably most of it gone, and then I'd put the rest of it into my business.
Yeah.
I'd just invest in myself. You know, because as much as that sounds like, and yes, you probably could make it last a lifetime if you tried hard, I like working. I like doing what I do.
Yeah. Sorry, just...
That'd be it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I'd spend mine on women, drugs, and drinking. And then I'd probably just squander the rest.
I know. The funny thing is that what we've just described is what we do with our money anyway.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. I would buy somewhere else, somewhere nice. I'd get that small.
Yeah.
That's what. I mean, that's what holds. You're a slave to the cash machine, aren't you?
And obviously sort all the kids out. You know, all my girlfriend's kids, my kids. I'd make sure they were sorted for whatever they wanted to do.
5 mil's not a lot of money though these days.
It's not, but you know, if you give a kid 100 grand and say, look, do you know what? You can put this towards a house, or you can put this towards a business. Do something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it would change their life.
Stay out the discos.
Stay off the disco biscuits.
Yes. Well.
Or not.
Yeah. Anyway, probably a different conversation.
Probably is. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'd be nice. You know, money's the thing, isn't it? Well, it is at the moment. It might not be for long.
Well, I think that's another thing, is that you know, this rise of AI and all the weirdness that's going on in the world, the choices of what you do with your time, I think, are going to change rapidly. In the next 10 years, I think, well, in 10 years' time, I think we're going to be living in a different world, and the freedom to do stuff that's on your bucket list might not be there. Or we might have all the time in the world. Maybe there'll be no jobs.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. I don't think there will be any jobs.
But I think that's terrible for a big chunk of the world.
Yeah.
I think there's people in the world who are probably a bit like me and think, I don't care if I haven't got a job, I'm going to be busy because I like doing stuff.
For decades of my life, the only thing that kept me alive was having a job.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If people haven't got a job, a lot of people, what are they going to do?
Yeah. No. Well, a lot of people haven't got a job at the moment. I mean,
And I don't mean money, because obviously that'll be replaced. There will be, you know, if AI comes in, takes all the jobs away, they will have some kind of universal income thing and everyone's just fine.
Yeah, they'll join the rest of them watching Lorraine Kelly smoking fags and eating microwave meals.
Yeah, I can't do that.
No.
That's just...
No, me neither. I hate Lorraine Kelly.
that whole thing,
Yeah.
we're going to entertain you just enough that you don't go mad. You know, that thing.
Well, everybody will plug in. That's what's going to happen next. Everybody will be, you know, you get your glasses, your AI glasses or whatever it is, and you just...
Yeah.
It's all that Black Mirror stuff.
Resist, kids.
Refuse, resist.
Refuse.
Yeah.
Get a job, earn your own money.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yep. Well, there you go, bucket list.
That'll cover it, I reckon.
Shall I tell you the second line from the Baby in a Bucket song?
Go on then.
No.
No, I don't want to hear, do I? It's not relevant. Probably really offensive.
It is.
Yeah.
It's both of those things.
All right, let's not hear it.
No.
Let's try and keep on Spotify.
Okay, well.
Cool.
Good. Please like the video.
Yeah, subscribe to the channel, and you can watch us on YouTube or Spotify or Amazon Podcasts or Apple Podcasts.
Really good for sending you to sleep.
Apparently so, yeah. There's stuff you can click on down there, and we'll see you in the next one. Adios.